Hello, everybody. Welcome into a Monday edition of the Computer America Show. This is the pre-show, a little behind the scenes. Ben, my co-host, is with me. Charles Tentel out in Las Vegas covering Black
4
Hat.
minutes until showtime.
And DEF CON, we'll be hearing from him on Wednesday. Actually, we might hear from him tonight. I told him who our guest is. Aero-X, they make the Aero-X, which is the levitating motorcycle.
Aero-X, not Aero-FX.
No, Aero-X. Aero-X, right? And they make the Aero-X, which is the levitating motorcycle. And he heard about that and saw it, and so he actually might call in during the first hour of the show. Also, we have our three big winners for our Logitech contest. We'll be announcing that tonight as well, and two brand new news tip bulletins from editor Marty Winston, excuse me, Marty Winston. So we've got all that coming up here on tonight's Computer America Show. So sit back, relax. We'll be starting in about 3 minutes. Okay. Oh. Okay.
3 minutes until showtime.
Okay.
Two minutes until showtime.
Yeah. Verify music left the chat room. What happened there? Okay, Tim, one last check. Everything good with you?
Everything is good. I'm here.
Okay. All right. Put you back on mute. We're getting ready to start. Okay.
One minute until showtime.
Okay, 30 seconds.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
Ben, hi. How are you?
Doing well.
Always good to hear you. So, guess what? I saw your brother saw Guardians of the Galaxy with his friends, and I saw it as well. I saw your mom didn't want to see it, but I went ahead and saw it. And I got to say, it was nice, but I think it appeals to I don't know. How should I say this?
Go ahead. Let him down hard.
No, I won't say it. But I mean, the sense of humor is. I know they tried for the tongue in cheek, off the cuff kind of, but I just don't think it made it.
Well, I mean, that's what Guardians of the Galaxy always was. In the '80s, it was just that,
yeah.
silly, fun kind of, it's not supposed to be serious like Batman. It's not supposed to be, slapstick like, some of the other ones. But it's just that little bit of random, little bit of kookiness that Guardians of the Galaxy is known for.
Yeah, but I know, but for almost over 2 hours of it, I don't know. It kind of lost me. I saw it and I enjoyed it, and it had its moments, but there were some funny little things, especially after the credits. Was a couple of, I won't, no spoilers, but there was a couple of funny things, but I don't know. It wasn't for me.
Okay, so for everyone other than Craig, I have heard good things.
There you go. All right. Well, anyway, welcome to the Computer America Show. As I said, it's a Monday edition of the program, and we have a couple of things. We have, as I said, we have our we're going to have our Logitech contest winners, 3 of them. That's right, 3 big winners. We'll announce them throughout the show. Let's see what else we have. Oh, yes, we also have 2 brand new news tip bulletins from Marty Winston, editor Marty Winston's. 2 new ones. Very interesting, by the way. I think you can find them. We have 2 new ones every single week, and we always debut them on the Monday show. But again, for those of you who entered into the Logitech contest, 3 great prizes. Hopefully you've entered. And just to let you know, although it closed, we are opening the contest again. Another Logitech contest. That's right. So it's up and running. Head over to our contest page at computeramerica.com.
With prize refreshes, right?
Yeah. Now, they haven't told me what the prize refreshes are, so those are probably going to change the next day or so. Right now, it's the same prizes they've had for the past few months, but I'm sure I'll be hearing from them, and then we'll reflect that with the new prizes in the upcoming.
You hear that, folks? Right now, you are all entering a contest for mystery prizes.
Mystery prizes, exactly. It might not be all 3. It just might be 1 or 2 that's going to be changed. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, and we'll find out. Of course, coming up in hour 2, we'll have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. That's all coming up as well. And anything else you want to mention before we get our guest on the invite our guest? Because I'm really excited about this.
No, I think we should jump right into it.
Okay, well, I think we should. We are a computer show, but we're also a technology. We're a computer and technology show. Anything having to do with technology is fair game for the program. And
from computers to cell phones to cabbage.
And to levitating motorcycles. Exactly. I think you got it. So funny I should mention levitating motorcycles, but our guest this hour is from a company called Aero-X. Okay, and on the discussion table is the Aero-X. This is a hovercraft. I like to call it a levitating motorcycle because of an image of this, but it is a hovercraft. But unlike any kind of hovercraft, when you see hovercraft, they have these soft canvas bags that inflate, and it's like that's not what this is. I like to call it like a flying or levitating motorcycle. Basically, where you're going, if there are no roads, you're going to need this. That's why you need the Aero-X. This is a vehicle that makes low-altitude flight realistic and affordable. Flying up to 10 feet off the ground at 45 miles per hour, the Aero-X is unlike any vehicle you've ever seen. It's a hovercraft that rides like a motorcycle, an off-road vehicle that gets you off the ground. This is an amazing product, and we're very pleased to have with us Tim DeRoche. Tim is the CEO of Aero-X. Tim, welcome into Computer America. How are you, sir?
I'm great. Thanks, Craig. Actually, I want to correct you on one thing. I am not the CEO. The CEO is my cousin, Mark DeRoche. He's the inventor of the Aero-X.
You're the CFO.
And the CEO of Aero.
Okay, you're the
Yes,
CFO.
Exactly.
All right. You say I missed one letter.
Makes all the worlds of difference.
Yeah, from CE to CE.
A crucial letter.
Yeah,
a crucial letter.
Yeah, that's right. So you're the CFO of Aero-X, right? So, but let's face it. I mean, you've got your pulse on the company. You obviously know this extremely well.
It
and
sounds like you might just know the CEO as well, being
Yeah.
cousins and all. But
cousins, exactly.
I do. He happens to be my cousin, exactly.
Exactly. So, why don't you, in your own words, I mean, I kind of introduced it, but why don't you tell our listeners how different the Aero-X is from other vehicles, other than the fact other flying vehicles or other hovercraft, I guess would probably be the fair, because this is technically in the hovercraft category, right?
Technically, we don't call it a hovercraft. It's not technically a hovercraft technology.
Mm-hmm.
The hovercraft rides, has a skirt around it
Exactly.
and rides on a cushion of air.
Mm-hmm.
The Aero-X technically does not have any height limitations. We're going to power limit the initial vehicle in order to stay clear of regulation and keep it safe.
Mm-hmm.
But really it has the ability to go much higher in the air eventually. It grew out of, so Mark DeRoche, my cousin, is a brilliant aerospace engineer. He's made a living doing engineering consulting for many of the largest aerospace companies in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And he got his start on the Aero-X about 15 years ago, basically a passion project to create a flying motorcycle. And the idea was, can we create a flying vehicle that rides more like a motorcycle, that looks more like a motorcycle, and that is cheaper to operate than a helicopter or a typical airplane.
Yep.
So he spent the last 15 years working on this, a very, very slow process of trial and error and really grassroots engineering, and has produced this vehicle that is obviously just blowing up on the internet and getting a lot of attention right now.
Yeah, I would be careful with that word "blowing up" when you talk, but yes.
Fair enough. In the context of Tesla, right?
Right, exactly. It's garnering an enormous amount of attention, and anyone who takes a look at this is going to understand immediately. Now, I invite you to take a look at the Aero-X website. All you have to do is go to our website at computeramerica.com and click on our show notes from the pull-down menu, and we have today's show, August the 4th, and you'll see a link to the Aero-X website, and you can see the Aero-X for yourself. This is an amazing. Now, are we looking at a concept, a mock-up, or an actual vehicle? What are we looking at here? Because there's several different shots, and it looks like there's several different, slightly different modifications for each one of these.
Yeah, so what you're looking at in the videos, you can find the videos on your website, you can find the videos on YouTube. The videos show the demonstration vehicle. So this is a real vehicle, flying vehicle. It is, our first generation shot at what this thing is going to look like. The concept art on the website shows what we think the finished vehicle is going to look like. So it's a little more polished. It seats 2. Our demonstration vehicle only seats 1, for example.
Okay, all right. So it seats 2. This is for the motorcycle enthusiast. Now, you mentioned that this thing can go higher, but you intentionally want to keep it, and it makes a lot of sense. You want to keep it, low. I mean, up to 10 feet off the ground would probably be the highest that you'd want it to go, because you want to, obviously, you want it to be an all-terrain type vehicle, so you can go on-road or off-road, and if it gets bumpy, you don't want to hit anything with it. So you're just high enough to clear everything. But with the 10 feet limitation, does the FAA get involved with this, or is it just something that it'll be considered a road vehicle? What are you aiming for with this first version of this vehicle?
Yeah, so it's an off-road. It'll be considered an off-road vehicle, and we're specifically building the vehicle to the specifications of the Hovercraft Society of North America.
Uh-huh.
With the idea that if we do that, then the FAA, just by definition, isn't interested in us. So we can just launch this first vehicle and have it be a safe, low-altitude vehicle that's going to allow you to do lots of things that you can't currently do either with a car or a helicopter or an airplane. So it's going to do lots of things that are unique to the Aero-X.
Now, what kind of a license will I need to drive one of these? I mean, to ride one of these. I guess you don't drive it, you ride it.
Yep.
That would be the correct nomenclature. What kind of license will I need to ride this type of vehicle?
You won't need any license as long as you're flying it on private land, and you'll probably need a couple hours of training. Mark has specifically designed the vehicle to be intuitively flown. So, in other words, it rides like a motorcycle. If you lean one way, the vehicle goes that way. If you lean the other way, it goes the other way. And it's meant specific. One of the primary costs of flying a helicopter or an airplane is the training that you need to get behind the controls.
Right.
And the Aero-X is meant to be much simpler. There are a bunch of other reasons why it's low cost as well, but the ability to get to operate one safely and effectively after just a couple hours of training is really one of the vehicle's big advantages.
Right. I mean, a helicopter, you have to spend months of not. A helicopter is probably one of the most difficult vehicles to fly.
Yeah, you gotta get like a couple hundred hours of flight time before you can go alone.
Right. I mean, it's you have to have a pilot's license, and then you have to have a special. I mean, it's a special license for helicopters. I mean, it's very difficult. It's not really non-intuitive. I think they might have made some improvements over the years, but basically, you really need to be on this thing. Whereas with the Aero-X, you just basically lean it. Are there handlebars where you can turn something, or is it strictly you steer it by leaning?
Well, there are handlebars which are a part of that leaning,
Okay.
so they'll take you where you want to go.
Okay. All right. So in other words,
If you were to compare this to any other vehicle, jet ski, helicopter, what have you, what would you compare this to, like in terms of steering?
In terms of steering, I mean, really, a motorcycle is the analogy.
Okay.
I mean, that's what Mark's been shooting for the whole time. That's how the vehicle, the demonstration vehicle operates, and that's how the production vehicle will operate as well.
Okay. Now, when let's say you get on this now, it's on the ground, and there are like little wheels or something that kind of hold it, and then you start it up, and then does it actually go up vertically about the first few feet, and then
It does.
Yeah. So
it immediately goes up vertically, and then you via the controls and via leaning, you move forward or backward. But the immediate effect when you turn it on is it goes straight up in the air.
okay. Now, when you want to go forward, you can't really lean forward. I mean, this is not like a Segway. I guess you've seen those things where you lean. Yeah. Is there something that propels it forward? Is there a throttle of some sort, or what?
Well, those are the handlebars. Those are going to control the pitch of the vehicle and whether it's going forward or backward.
Okay, all right. So it can actually go in reverse too. You can actually back up with this thing.
It can. And what we really like, the term we like is aerial ATV. Mm-hmm. Because we think of this as a vehicle that is both used in a recreational consumer kind of context, but is also used in lots of work environments. So we think that governments are going to be interested in this in terms of law enforcement. We think it's going to be very useful on ranches, in agriculture, and things like that. Kind of like the ATV today is used, as a recreational vehicle. It's used in lots of other applications, both by the government and private businesses.
Would you say that this could probably get you to places where even an ATV would have difficulty in getting you to? Would it not?
Clearly it would. I mean, it's like a flying ATV. So we think of it analogous in terms of the breadth of applications, but clearly this is going to be a vehicle, think of border control, right, where you're having to fly over very rough terrain at low altitude. Mm-hmm. think of search and rescue, right, where there's a flood and you want to be able to fly in and do reconnaissance very, very quickly, very, very cheaply.
Wait a minute.
This is going to take you places that you can't go currently without a helicopter and airplane, which are much more expensive vehicles.
Tim, are you saying that this will actually fly you over water as well as land?
It will. It will.
Wow.
In fact, we think that could be one of the primary applications.
Does it float?
So there will be the production vehicle is going to have airbags, and there will likely be an option for some sort of pontoons or something that will allow the vehicle to float. Because we don't imagine that all of our clients, our customers, will want a vehicle that floats, but it is something that some folks are going to want, whether they be farmers or consumers or government clients. You know, some of those folks are going to be very interested in a vehicle that floats. So that will be one option.
Wow. So this is extremely impressive. So what kind? I want to get into the key technological breakthroughs that you had to do this, and I understand you had to patent some things, but before we get into that, I just wanted to just ask you a couple other things here. So basically,
Sure.
you can learn it in a couple of hours. You can learn how to navigate and fly it. Could I like an ATV? I don't know if you're allowed to take ATVs on the road, but could you technically also take this on the highway? It's going at 45 miles an hour. Could you take it on the road, or do you not?
Yeah, I think that's unlikely. I think that the regulation situation would prevent that, at least in the near future. Maybe somewhere a long ways down the line that might be a possibility. There's certainly nothing about the vehicle that would prevent that, but I think we're not anticipating that that's going to be an option in the near future.
But you could drive it on the highway. You wouldn't have a license plate on them. So you guess
Well, yeah, I guess just drive it 10 feet above the cars and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, I guess you could.
You know, at 45 miles an hour, I'm not sure you're going to be able to outrace the authorities.
No, that's true. You probably wouldn't. But
Nobody can outmaneuver them. We at Computer America do not recommend trying to outmaneuver the cops.
No.
But you could.
You could take it off the road that you're on, and then you're off and running, I guess. That's, that'd be hard to follow you. Exactly. Especially if you're going over water.
Unless they've got their own fleet of Aero-X's.
Yeah, exactly, right.
That would be something straight from a sci-fi movie. That would be fun to watch. In the videos that you have up on the website, where you show this thing in action, you're doing it in what look like the salt flats. Some are very flat, very, I would imagine, ideal conditions to learn how to drive this thing. What if someone were to buy one in, say, a forested area or something like that? I mean, do you need salt flats to learn how to drive this thing, or is it, could you go to a field, maybe, hills and stuff like that? Like, could people learn this wherever they, happen to be?
Hard to say exactly at this point. I think the ideal learning situation is going to be a flat area where there's not a lot of obstacles. You've got flat terrain, not a lot of wind, But once you've learned under those kind of controlled circumstances, the vehicle itself will operate under many, many different circumstances. And, you just want to, I think you're going to want to learn to fly it in control.
In other words, once you've learned, I mean, you could take it up a gradual incline, like a hill or something like that, or the side of a mountain. Not a mountain. Yeah. But
you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And there are the FAA allows some exceptions for a vehicle that is in emergency circumstances can fly higher than 15 feet off the ground. So say you go over a cliff, the vehicle's not going to plummet to the ground.
Really?
It's going to allow you to get back down safely.
Wow, that is absolutely
that one, Tesla.
Yeah, exactly. If you have a comment or question for our guest, we certainly invite you to join us. 347-884-8881. I'll get you through. 347-884-8881. Give us a call. You can also join us in our live interactive chat room from our homepage at computeramerica.com. You'll see our chat room. You just put in a nickname, click the connect button, and your browser will move you into the Computer America chat room. You can also watch us. You can see Ben and myself on the live Computer America video streaming page, and that's, of course, brought to you by Otherworld Computing, quality products, expert support since 1988. Please visit them at www.maxsales.com. So let me ask you this. They're asking questions in the chat room. What kind of, I guess, how much gas does it hold, and how far can you? What kind of distance can you go on this?
Yeah, it's going to hold about 15 gallons of gas.
Okay. Wow.
And you're going to have a range of, definitely, actually, I shouldn't speak out of turn here. Mark knows the range much better than I do. I can't remember exactly what the range we're committing to is.
Okay. All right. But I guess you can find that information up on the website, correct?
You can.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the key technological breakthroughs that you've had to make with this device, this vehicle.
Yeah, the most critical one is the control system. So Craig, folks have tried to build ducted fan vehicles like this before, and the critical thing has always come down to how do you control it. A helicopter is controlled via a very complicated rotor head, which controls the pitch of the individual blades. So the Aero-X is actually a fixed blade vehicle, right. And Mark really struggled in the early years to figure out, okay, how can we control this vehicle in a much less expensive way, both in building it and also in maintaining it. And because a helicopter rotor is extremely expensive both to build and to maintain. So what he developed over time, is basically through trial and error, is this ejector-based control system. So around the Aero-X is made up of two ducted fans. The pilot sits on top of them, between them, and around each of the ducts are 36 flaps, which control the air inflow on the perimeter of the blade.
Okay.
And via controlling those flaps, you're controlling how much air comes in and out around the perimeter, and that allows you to control the orientation of the blades and how the air is coming out. And that basically allows you to control the vehicle in all 4 dimensions. Okay.
And is there some sort of computer control that's kind of like overwatching all of this? I mean, is it all you, the rider, or there's some? I know there's some kind of computer assisted devices and very complex vehicles which make the piloting of that vehicle a lot easier.
Yeah, no, it is not computer controlled. It's all mechanical.
All right.
And so the rider is controlling those flaps and the orientation of the vehicle just via intuitive movements, just like you would a motorcycle.
Wow. Okay.
And the great thing is also, because it's so simple. The idea here is just to build a vehicle that is much less expensive to operate, much less expensive to learn how to fly, much less expensive to maintain. And so really it's meant to be less of an aerospace supply chain, less of an aerospace type vehicle, and more of a flying vehicle that resembles a motorbike in how expensive it is to maintain and how in the skill it requires to maintain.
Well, that's an interesting mindset. So the simpler you keep it, the less things can go wrong, and therein comes the practice. Now, I think the first requirement is you'd have to know how to ride a bicycle or a motorbike, right? I mean, I think that goes without saying.
Yeah.
You have to know how to ride a motorcycle before you can tackle this, right?
Yep, I think that's true.
Okay, good. All right, so with all these technological breakthroughs that you had, have you patented some of these things?
So Mark's got a bunch of patents on the vehicle. I mean, the most critical one is the control system, and that control system, has the potential to apply to other types of vehicles. So if you remember in the movie Avatar, they had ducted fan helicopters.
Oh yes, I remember those.
Yep. So there's potential to use this technology to create a much less expensive ducted fan helicopter. Now that's not our focus right now, but down the line, it's something we want to explore. Just because this ejector-based system is just so much cheaper than your typical helicopter motor.
Okay, all right. And is that the only thing you've patented? Or you mentioned a couple of things.
Yeah, there are a few others, and again, I'm not the expert. That's the most important one. There's a patent on the fail-safe, which shuts off the engine and sort of shuts it off slowly because you don't want fans coming to a complete halt.
Yeah. I mean, if you go over the cliff, you go over the cliff. Our fail-safe is that it just shuts the engines off. Now,
you're gonna look like one of those cartoons. It's just your head and everything drops down.
Okay. Yeah, the fail-safe basically allows you, if the engine fails, it basically allows the blades to keep spinning and allows you plenty of time to glide the vehicle back down to the ground. Obviously, if you're flying at 12 feet off the ground, that's not as much of a concern. But once we get to higher altitudes, then that's a much bigger concern.
I think that term, they call that an auto gyro. I think all helicopters have that. So if a helicopter, if the engine fails or you run out of gas or whatever, you won't drop like a rock. You'll come down straight. You'll be straight down. Whatever's underneath you, that's it. You have very little piloting ability. But I think they call that auto gyro.
Yep.
And is that so? You're saying you have a similar ability on that?
Something analogous. Something analogous. It's not the exact same thing, but it's something analogous.
Okay, all right.
And that has been patented as well.
Okay, so when if it does cut out, you're not going to fall like a rock either. Now, as you say, if you're only 12 feet off the ground, that's a little bit of a jolt, but not much. But obviously, if you're higher in the future, I guess that would be something that would be of extreme importance to you. I know some. I mean, are you envisioning other technologies too, like maybe a parachute of some sort on this? If you're way up, that.
Well, yeah, there will be an airbag system, a whole vehicle airbag system, that will be an option on the first production vehicle.
Okay. So if you have your partner with you and you don't get that option, you say you should have gotten that option. Okay. Exactly. Probably a good option to have with this. And again, I invite all of you to go to the website and check it out again at computeramerica.com, or you can go to its Aero-X, AEROFEX.com, and you can see it. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Now, I noticed that a couple of the models, one of them has like a white handle, and then in the center, another one has looks like a roll bar, and then there's another one that looks like a large golf ball sitting up there.
You're talking about like the surveying and the ranching and the agricultural, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, there are different controls on different models. Are those just different prototypes where you're considering? What are those?
Yeah, the idea is just to show the full range of potential applications for the vehicle, and how we think of the Aero-X as a platform. So the platform can be adapted by search and rescue. It can be adapted by border patrol. It can be adapted by a rancher, a farmer. And so those, that's concept art, basically showing what the vehicle might look like if it's been adapted by different users.
One of our users in the chat room wants to know if it comes with rocket launchers. Only for the border patrol models, I think. I think that would be it.
No rocket launchers currently planned.
No, but you never done it. I mean, I could see this in the military. I mean, certainly, for a certain branch of, for the next up above a foot soldier, I would think something like that would be. I mean, could you see this in military use? I would think so.
There are potential military uses, and the military has shown some interest. We're in ongoing talks about potential development partnerships.
All right, Tim, we're at the bottom of the hour break, and we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network, We're talking to Aero-X Tim, the CFO of the company, Tim DeRoche. We'll be right back with him. Stay with us.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No Hair Removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No Hair Removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got thermocon technology that hair and skin colors, so it's perfect body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Hi again, it's Marty Winston for Computer America with a News Tips Bullet Review of MSDN. That's the Microsoft Developers Network. Gets fairly geeky, and mostly it's IT guys who go there, and developers, guys who write programming. But it's not so geeky that it's not within the ken of at least several of you, so we thought we'd take another look. A new Windows PC build put us back in touch with Microsoft's PR agency to request a renewal for our MSDN subscription. As usual, that took months, but it also gave us an opportunity to see how the service has changed. The available downloads now span 11 terabytes of files, well beyond Windows and Office, with Azure and Microsoft Dynamics CRM and Visual Studio and Windows Phone developer tools. Filters let you narrow the pick list to a specific architecture, 32-bit or 64-bit. File extension, EXE for direct launch or ISO for burning disks. A language, a product family. One of the top tabs takes you to a list of claimed product keys and says how many remain unclaimed. Bottom line, today, MSDN offers more downloads and more convenience than ever. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. 33 minutes past the hour. That was Marty Winston with the new one this week, and wasn't bad.
Yeah, I didn't know that about, did you know that about the developers?
11 terabytes.
That's a lot of terabytes.
I know. That's like 11 more than I have. So welcome back to the Computer America Show. We have Aero-X, and we're talking about their new product called the Aero-X, which is a flying ATV. I actually like that. That's a pretty good way to describe it. And we were just talking about the possible uses for it. We just finished on talking about military. Obviously, there's other applications in search and rescue and things like that, but it's not really a vehicle, I guess, until someone backflips it. Could you see this thing in kind of sprouting up its own kind of sporting event around it? Because ATV is huge in the sporting arena. So do you think this could have some kind of pro sports involved with it?
That's definitely a possibility. I mean, that's not something we're focused on, but if an innovative user wants to go in that direction, I think there are possibilities for racing and things like that that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would think so. Again, when I first saw this, the first thing that I thought of, Tim, was the flyers they have in Star Wars. The and the
Oh, the pod racers.
yeah, the land skimmer.
Oh, yeah, the land skimmer that they have in 4 and 5. That's right.
Yeah. I mean, that's just he also, even in the first episode, Luke Skywalker, he's on the desert and he rides in one of those things, that skims across the sand desert. I don't think they named it back in that very first episode of Star Wars. Episode 4.
They called it the land speeder. The land speeder was the original name for that.
Land speeder. And this kind of reminds me a little bit of that. There's a little bit of that in it.
Yeah, many people do that. Yeah.
It's just but the point, of course, that's sci-fi, and here we have reality. This is something that's definitely here. And
was this whole company and the Aero-X that's sprung up from it? Was this all passion, or did you see a need? Because sure, everyone's been clamoring for a personal hovercraft since the 1940s, but I mean, it's just everyone involved in this really just really in love with the project.
Well, for Mark, my cousin and the inventor, it's been a passion project for the past 15 years. I think originally he was very focused on the recreational aspect and this idea of building a flying motorcycle, a flying vehicle that you could pilot intuitively, that you wouldn't have to take hours and hours of classes in an extremely expensive vehicle that you could just hop on, that would operate efficiently and cost effectively, and that you could have a lot of fun on. I think that was the original idea. I think, and that still exists, and we still believe in the potential of the vehicle as a consumer recreational vehicle. I think as we've gone along, we've realized, hey, there are applications. This vehicle has the potential to be a game changer in a number of different ways. So, for example, aerial application of pesticides, right? Really, there are only 2 countries in the world that are wealthy enough to afford aerial application of pesticides on a large scale basis, and that's the U.S. and Japan. The second world, the third world, places like Brazil, China, Russia, those are countries that don't have the airport infrastructure, that don't have the money to invest in airplanes and helicopters to increase their agricultural yields. And I think Mark and I are both excited, in addition to the recreational component, in addition to the border patrol, the search and rescue, kind of the civilian applications. This idea of being able to contribute to agricultural yields and using the vehicle in second and third world countries to increase food production, I think we're both very excited about that.
Yeah. Did you ever see the movie Looper, Tim?
Yes.
Okay, so there was a flying motorcycle.
That's another vehicle.
Yeah, exactly. Flying motorcycle, and I mean, it didn't go very high up.
A drone. Yep.
Yeah.
A low altitude drone that's being used in agriculture. That's the other vehicle besides the land speeder in Star Wars. That's the other vehicle that we got to get a lot of comparisons to.
Yeah. So tell us, what kind of response are you getting with this? I mean, when you look at it, it's a visceral response. At least for me. I mean, I went, "Oh my gosh!" I mean, what kind of responses are you getting with this?
Yeah, we're getting an astounding response. I think on YouTube we're up to over 4 million hits. In just the past month or two, we've been featured on the BBC, on the Discovery Channel. Vice magazine's run a feature. We've been in Wired. I think you're right that there's a certain visceral reaction to this vehicle, and it's something that is fun to watch and that we're excited about. And obviously, there are a lot of people out there who respond to the videos.
Right. So, if someone sees this and they say, you know, I've got to have this. How does one reserve? How can one reserve one, or can they be reserved at this point?
Yeah, they can. So via our website, which is again is Aero-X, AEROFX.com, you can reserve a vehicle. It's a $5,000 deposit. The vehicle itself costs $85,000. Is our projection, and obviously we've got a demonstration vehicle now. Over the next 2 years, Mark is going to develop a prototype vehicle which will take what we've learned on the demonstration vehicle to the next level, and then the phase after that is to go right into production. We'll start delivering vehicles in 2017.
Where do you think this is going to be made? Is this going to be made in the U.S. or is it going to be made overseas? Is it going to be farmed out? Parts? What's your projection?
You know, we haven't made that decision yet. I think our strong preference would be to manufacture it in the United States.
Okay, all American made. I like that sound. Yeah, exactly. You know, a little red, white.
But obviously, our goal is to produce them as cheaply as possible as well, and to make these available to as many people as possible. So you know, we'll make those decisions down the line once we're ready to go into production.
Do you think your market's going to be primarily first in the U.S. or is it going to be overseas, where people are looking to find a good value for what it is they want to do?
You know, I think there'll be a strong market in both places.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in you know how you see in many third world countries, you see folks skipping the step of hardwired landlines for phones, for example, and going straight to cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we anticipate in some third world countries that it's just going to make sense to skip right to the Aero-X. And you know, maybe you don't have a great infrastructure in terms of paved roads. Maybe you don't have a great infrastructure in terms of airports and helipads, but you know, you can skip straight to the Aero-X, and you've got a vehicle that can get you almost anywhere you want to go, and do a lot of things that those other vehicles can't.
So you have a lot of potential customers, but you're going to focus primarily on the recreational customer for first. Do you think that $80,000 might be a little pricey for a recreational customer?
Well, we're not focusing on any particular. I mean, we're open to all of those markets. Anyone who thinks that they're going to be able to make good use of this vehicle, we're open to that. Mm-hmm. Certainly, E5 is expensive for many folks, but you know, that's the price for the first one. You know, as our volumes go up, we anticipate that price may drop considerably.
Okay.
And you know, based on our results so far, there are some folks out there who are willing to pay that kind of money for this type of vehicle that's so different. You know, it's going to impress your friends, and it's going to be fun, and it's going to be something unique that you have. And there are folks out there who are willing to pay that kind of money.
Oh yeah, there's definitely that crowd. There's no question about it. I certainly can see some people like that having something like this in their backyard. What kind of motor are you going to use here? We really haven't talked too much about it. What kind of engine is this going to be? Because it doesn't seem to be too much of a room to have an engine in there. I guess along the motorcycle, is it going to be similar to a motorcycle engine, or is it different?
You know, it's a rotary motor, and it's you know, it's a standard rotary motor. I am not the technical expert. I'm a strategy and finance guy, a business guy, but it's a standard rotary motor, very simple, runs on automotive gas.
Okay, rotary motor. Is it one for the front, one for the back, or is it the one motor that powers both blades?
No, it's one that powers both.
Okay, and it's a rotary engine. The last time I saw it was that the Mazda was the big introduction for the rotary engine way back when. But rotary engines still.
That's right. That's right.
I'm sorry?
Well, the demonstration vehicle actually uses a Mazda engine, a Mazda rotary engine.
Son of a gun! Look at that. and they feel a rotary engine is the best type of motor for this particular application, huh?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Now again, that's not my expertise, but that's what Mark tells me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen. I guess again, the Aero-X is the name of the motorcycle. It's just going to be one model. initially going to be coming out probably in 2017. And people, will there be dealers in the country, or do you have to buy it? You buy it online? Any ideas as how people are going to go out and purchase these things?
Yeah, that's a little down the line, but we anticipate you'll be buying directly from us in the initial production batch. You'll buy directly from us.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, exactly. No middleman. In other words, direct to the dealer. Oh, well, that's certainly. And of course,
I could not imagine going to a dealership and getting all the runaround with, like, oh, would you like the sports package? Would you like the search and rescue package? How about the agricultural package?
Would you like the pontoon package?
Well, we'd like to avoid the markup of middlemen, right? We'd like to keep this thing as inexpensive as possible, as accessible to as many people around the world as possible.
And the control panel is going to be pretty much digital. It looks like it's going to be a digital control panel under that little visor that's in the front. Is it all digital?
Yeah, there'll be a digital control panel, but it'll be very, very simple. This is not a complicated vehicle to operate. You're not going to have a complicated dashboard, like an airplane. This is going to be very, very simple with a very small number of meters that kind of give you the information you need to know.
I would think maybe a speedometer, and then also an altimeter. So how high off the ground you're on.
Yep.
And then of course a gas gauge.
That's exactly.
A gas gauge, maybe an oil gauge, and that's something you would find in a regular car. I mean, the gauges you would find in the car, you would just add the altimeter. I think.
And I guess the tire pressure too, right?
You're right, Craig.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I would see that you would add to it, and then as it gets more sophisticated, I guess you could add a little GPS navigation, and as you move along, you could add more and more features to it. But
I think you're right.
Yeah, I do. Well, Tim, listen, I want to thank you for being here on the show with us. Again, it's called the Aero-X, and you can check them out at their website at www.aerofex.com. But you can go to our website at computeramerica.com, go to the show notes page, and look at today's show, August the 4th, and we have the links there for you that you can check it out for yourself. Tim, thank you so much for being with us here tonight on the Computer America Show, and hopefully we'll.
Thank you so much, Craig.
And hopefully
we really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll have you back again, and with a headset we can hear you a little better next time. Okay.
When we're ready, we'll have you out for a ride.
All right, I look forward to it. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
All right, bye-bye. All right, there it is. Okay, the Aero-X, Aero-X with a.
I'm not telling his marketing department how to market this thing.
You're not?
But.
Yeah.
I would imagine something like this being on, like the planned activities they have at like cruise ships and hotels and things like that.
Yeah.
Like on the beaches, like they have kite surfing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Don't you think a hovercraft would be a nice thing to also add to that list?
I think that would be but the only problem that I would see with that is the training time, because he says it's going to take you about a weekend to learn how to use it.
They're two-person.
Yeah. Oh, so you have so you would just
there you go.
The passenger and let the pilot, not
you would have a pilot who would pilot at all times, and then you'd have a passenger who they take out for rides.
And then if you want to learn how to do it, you could take the time to learn how to do it. And then
I don't think you'd have the time while you're on vacation, but I'm just saying, it'd be something interesting to do.
Yeah, I would think so. And with the rotary engine, it's 15 gallons of fuel, a standard automotive fuel. It doesn't need aircraft fuel, just because it's using a standard rotary engine. I would think you got maybe 150. If you got 10 miles to the gallon, because of this.
I looked it up on the website. I actually just closed it. Let me see. Reopen, close tab. And I'll have it. It says there's an hour and a half, an hour and a quarter, so an hour 15 of flight time, and it goes up to 45 miles an hour. So I'd guess it'd have a range of, somewhere around 50, 60 miles.
If you're going 45 miles an hour and it has and it's an hour, okay, so you're about 50, 60 miles. Yeah, exactly. All right. makes a lot of sense.
I mean, and that's enough for an afternoon. I mean, you know, and of course, if you bring gas along with you,
You
you
can
know, that's a couple of trips.
Yeah, you bring this up on the pickup in the flatbed, and you have extra gallons of gasoline. You do that with ATVs. People bring them, and they have the extra gas. You know?
Exactly. I mean, this thing's already going to require towing of some sort because, you know, you're not going to drive it out to wherever you're going to, you know, have it.
Unless you live in the ranch.
Again, if you're using it as a recreational device, you would tow it out to somewhere that you want to use it, and then, you know, you'd bring all your supplies and then have fun with it.
Or unless you live on a ranch, you know, and then you just open the barn doors and bring it out and go.
That or your DeLorean, and you know, it's what it is.
Exactly. All right, we've got a couple of now. Should we announce a winner here or save it for the second hour? You know.
Let's start off early. Just go for it.
All right. Well, we've got 3 winners here for the Logitech contest, and we're going to announce at least one of them right now. And again, head over to computeramerica.com and go under our under the first pull down menu. You'll see our contest page, and you'll see our Logitech prizes, and you just click on that, and it'll go to the Logitech contest. And as you say, we've just started a new one. It's up and running. Now we might have a slightly different prizes. We're going to hear from Logitech, see what they want to do. But right now we are giving away what you see on the contest page. And this first prize here, it's the 3rd place prize. This is the Logitech HD Webcam C310 valued at $50. It uses the Logitech Fluid Crystal technology. Okay, gives you the smoother video motion without the annoying choppiness in real-world conditions. Again, it's valued at $49.99, $50. Okay, and that prize goes to Stephen Bristow. Oh, I take that back. I'm sorry, I read the wrong name.
Good job.
No, it goes to...
Poor Steven, I'm sorry.
Poor Stephen, not one of you. Brian Williams.
Oh, even better.
Yes, Brian.
I love his broadcast.
Yes, Brian Williams, exactly. Brian listens to our show in Long Beach, California. He wins a lot.
Again, I love his broadcast.
Yeah.
I think he's out there.
Yeah, I know. I wonder if it's the same Brian Williams. You think it could be? So you're our 3rd place winner. Congratulations to you, Brian, for our 3rd place winner. So you want to do all 3 winners now, or do you want to wait till the second hour?
No, let's spread them out. What? No, the dramatic buildup is what makes it worthwhile.
All right, so we'll wait. We'll announce some of the other ones in the second hour of the show. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Okay. All right, so that leaves us to do some computer news and technology news. I guess we'll start doing those now. What?
Actually, you know, before we get to the technology news kind of thing, I actually just read something online that kind of piqued my interest, and it's not specifically technology related, but I thought it was interesting. Maybe get your point of view on it because you are of a different generation than I am.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, they had the you know, the Academy hands out the Oscars. They vote,
yes.
You know,
sure.
stuff like that. Well, the category for animation, you know, for animated movies, it has never been taken seriously, and and it's never been, you know, shown as much as last year when I mean seriously, like whenever you think animation and Oscars or what have you. You know, they always think, oh, well, the last one to win was, you know, The Lion King back in '94, '95, or whatever, whatever it was. Last year, you know, there were a couple contenders, but you know, the most popular one was Frozen.
Yes.
The animated movie Frozen, and they had a bunch of quotes from the judges,
Academy?
from the judges of the Academy, and I'd say they had about 8 or 9 quotes. From them saying 7 out of 9 of them were just, I haven't seen all the entries, so I abstain my vote. And then like 2 of them were, you know, I've seen them all, and Frozen just blew everyone else away. And then there was one of them that said something along the lines of, you know, I haven't seen an animation movie since my son was 6 years old, and then I stopped taking to him. And then even when I did take him to these movies, I would just go outside and go talk on my cell phone. They are for children, and they have no place.
That's not. Did you see The Incredibles? I thought The Incredibles was for adults. Really, I mean, it was.
Oh yeah, no, lots of Disney movies and lots of Pixar and things like that. I mean, you got people who are spending their entire lives. When Steve Jobs, got fired from Apple, or at least removed from the board at Apple, he didn't go about and make another computer. He didn't go out and make another computer company. He went out and started Pixar.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is an animation company. People spend their whole lives. Important people, and people spend 4 to 8 years in college perfecting their artistic ability in animating, and then to hear the Academy say that, well, animated movies, they're for children. Animation. If you want to be taken seriously and you're a film creator, go make Good Will Hunting again, or go make Dances with Wolves, something serious, dramatic, and has real actors in it, like a real movie should.
No, that's wrong. That's wrong. I thought The Incredibles was one of the best Pixar movies to come out in a long time.
Oh, I mean, there are lots of great movies. It's just just from the one source that's supposed to be handing out the awards, and to hear 7 out of 9 of them just say we abstained because we didn't even bother watching anything.
Maybe they need to step down and have a younger judge.
Yeah, I know the establishment is so easy to topple, but I think it's animation lately, especially in the last decade, has definitely come into its own. When ever since anything post Final Fantasy, the movie Final Fantasy, anything post that movie was is actually pretty good. Where they don't spend $500 million on hair.
Well, technically, Avatar was an animated.
Oh, did it win any awards?
Yeah,
I know it. I know it crushed the box office. Like, it made like $1 billion, but I don't think it won any awards.
No, I think it did win some awards. I don't know. It wasn't Best Picture, but it was certainly up there. You can check it out. We ought to Google it and find out Avatar.
But even that had live acting in it.
Yes, it did had live acting, but it also had.
There was a lot of CGI. I mean, like animated movie. I mean, like Frozen, Lion King, Toy Story, things like that. That just completely beginning to end animated.
Okay. Well, then, as I said, I think The Incredibles was one that comes to mind. I thought it was one of the best animated films I've seen in a long time.
I mean, Despicable Me.
It wasn't for children, It was an adult picture. I mean, it had everything. I think for kids and for adults too. What about?
But that's also a trademark of Pixar and Disney. You could watch Monsters Inc. and I think everyone really liked that one.
Yeah, I love that too. I love Monsters Inc. Well, you watch Adult Swim all the time. That's animated. But
that is animated. It's animated for adults as well. So yeah. I mean, it's there's a lot of cartoons, especially nowadays, that are I watch cartoons. I'll say it here. I'll say it now. I'll say it proud. And not just the nighttime Adult Swim kind of deal, but stuff made for kids. And I'll admit, half the stuff I don't like. It's crap. It's that it's that brain junk food that cartoons you may remember from Tom and Jerry. Mm-hmm. But there's another section out there that really is kind of developing with the audience.
What about The Simpsons and
The Simpsons, Family Guy, Futurama, things like that? That is animation made for adults.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't want my kids.
But I think there's also a movement for cartoons that were just made for kids. But I think now that there's a generation that kind of grew up on cartoons, they're kind of weaving them into older generations where it's not just for 12, 13-year-olds. It's also for late teens, early 20s as well.
Yes. And let's not leave out South Park either.
South Park is for everyone, regardless of age. Yeah, regardless of age. Let's put it that way.
Exactly, and they really are, and they're very funny to watch. Adult Swim, some of them get a little too much. Even I kind of shake my head on Adult Swim.
You have to admire the absurdity of it. There's I'm sure if I knew my Latin, it would be ad absurdum or whatever it would be called. But it's just they make cartoons for the absurdity of making animation.
All right. Well, we've got another hour of the Computer America show coming at you here on the Blog Talk Radio Network and the Boost Radio Network and the IRN Radio Network. You can check all of this out at our website at computeramerica.com. Everything that we do. Computeramerica.com is the internet home of our radio Talk Show. And everything we do there is reflected on the website. Plus, of course, our show reminder that you can subscribe to. It's all free. It's all private. It's right there. Everything is at computeramerica.com. When we come back, we're going to do computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities. We're going to be back just in a few moments. Stay with us.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And if you just missed the first hour, we had Aero-X on the show, talking about the Aero-X, the levitating motorcycle that will be here in 2017, if projections go correctly. It's interesting because we had the levitating motorcycle, and also this week we have Elio Motors is going to be on the show too. We're going to have
it's a regular car show.
Yeah, car show, exactly. But it's all technology, and so it makes sense, because we do computers and technology, and that's what we do here on the show. So again,
I wish we would change it to computer science and technology.
Computer science and technology. Computers and technology. Well, we're primarily a computer talk show, but we talk about computers, but we also talk about a lot of the tech that spin off.
I'm going to start a petition on petition.org, and I'm going to see if we can't get Computer America to include science, because science is nothing but a derivative form of technology, isn't it?
Well, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah. All technology is.
Or we should say.
Not all science is technology, but all technology is science.
That's what we should say. Technology is just a derivative form of science.
Like, not all birds are chickens, but all chickens are birds. It's kind of the same mentality. Yeah.
So if I called you a chicken,
no.
You're a bird?
I hut and peck when I type. That's about it. Okay. So we're, and of course, just to bring you up to speed again, we already announced our third place winner on our Logitech contest. That means we still have two more winners. We have Brian Williams as our third place winner. We still have our second place and our first place grand prize winner. So that'll all be coming up here a little later on tonight's show. So, and again, I mentioned I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, which was okay. I didn't.
I'm not going to ask what you didn't like about it, because as much as you say, I don't listen to negative reviews. I don't listen to reviews.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go ask you for a review.
Yeah.
Because by your own logic, no one should listen to you.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
How could you see this turning into another franchise?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm sure. A lot.
Marvel currently has, the Avengers. Could this turn into a three-part series of its own?
Yeah, I think it probably will. Yeah, it already says it's going to return. At the end of the movie, it always has that. Bradley Cooper played the voice of
Rocket.
Rocket. Yeah, and I listened to it. I tried as I couldn't hear Bradley Cooper's voice in it. He disguised it so well. I really didn't hear Bradley Cooper's voice as the voice of Rocket, but they had some good some name actors in it.
They had Bradley Cooper's Rocket. They had Vin Diesel as Groot.
Yeah.
They had a lot of good actors.
Yeah, exactly. Although he didn't say much.
He doesn't need to. He's the strong silent type.
He says the same thing basically over and over again. So. I am Gru.
Sometimes you got the magic and you get it in that one line, and then you just you capitalize on it.
That's it. That's all you have to say. I was wondering why he was kind of smiling and laughing when they were interviewing the cast, one of the talk shows, and And evidently now I get it, because he really didn't say much. He said, or what he did say was pretty much the same thing all the time. So, and again, I didn't hear Vin Diesel's voice. It didn't sound like the tonality of his voice. I listened carefully. They changed it or something, but
Actually, the true joke behind the whole thing is Robin Williams voiced every single person in that film. Yes, even the live actors, he voiced every single one of them.
Who knew? He's such a talented guy.
I know.
Yes, Gru is Vin Diesel. Yes, exactly. All right. Well, I think that said, now is it Gru or Groot?
Groot. Groot.
It's like the root of the plant, growing root. Okay.
There you go.
Okay, Groot. Yeah, Jonathan was emphatic. It's Groot. Exactly. All right. Well, let's do some computer news and get started with that. Tonight's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for free. That's right. Everything at the Slimware Utilities website is absolutely free. They don't use a freemium model. They don't, you can use it for 30 days and then you have to get none of that. It's completely free. All of them are free, and you should download all of them. We use them here at the Crossman household, Slimware Utilities, on all of our computers, and we recommend that you do so too. Put them in your toolkit, and when you need them, you'll be glad that you had them. As I said, download all of them, even their rec image, their backup software. Get it all, and you'll be happy that you did, and you will thank us for it. SlimwareUtilities.com. So, excuse me. In the news this week, excuse me.
You okay over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
This first story, Titanfall update promises yummy optimizations to boost performance. This is from Paul Lilly. Lots of bandwidth tweaks await Titanfall in the latest update. Respawn has put the finishing touches on its 5th title update for Titanfall, and with it comes a ton of optimizations intended to improve online play. The update applies to all platforms and also includes numerous bug fixes, as well as more robust multi-GPU support specific to the PC. Respawn said it worked with NVIDIA so that the second GPU would no longer sit idle. Oh, look at that. Lots of yummy bandwidth optimizations as well as various delicious frame rate optimizations have been lovingly handcrafted and squeezed into the game. Respawn was quoted as saying that. A couple of tweaks specific to the PC include a fix for 120/144 Hz monitors to use the desktop refresh rate for max frames per second when VSync is disabled or when in windowed mode, and a fix for weapon fire rate being different when running greater than 60 frames per second. So there you go. Now, do you play Titanfall?
I did not jump on that little bandwagon.
Okay.
I think we talked about it with Grayson Hamilton when it first came out.
Yeah.
You ever get that feeling whenever people are trying to make it more than it is?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think that's what they did with Titanfall. Titanfall was, quote unquote, the first big game to come out for the new consoles. To come out for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, and they really wanted it to hit hard. Mm-hmm. So, everyone was running deals on it. If you bought Titanfall, then you got, $60 off an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4. Mm-hmm. If you, did this, if you did that, if you bought like a year subscription, you get free Titanfall. They did a lot of things to push Titanfall down people's throats.
Okay.
So I never jumped on it because, when someone wants you to buy something that hard, you kind of back off and say, I kind of don't want that. No means no.
Okay. All right. Well, they tried to make it as tempting as they could. And a lot of people succumbed to that. You didn't.
And again, it's been a decent game, but it wasn't the kind of game that I feel warranted that kind of, advertising.
Okay.
It was decent. It wasn't, everyone should jump on board decent.
All right. Okay.
Okay, so this story from Ars Technica And Craig actually sent you a link to this one, and it's the EFF inaugurates "quote unquote" stupid patent of the month. So patent litigation reform failed to pass Congress this year, but the issue of patent trolls, "quote unquote" paper companies that do nothing but sue over patents, received unprecedented attention. Activist groups that have been long focused on the issue, like the Electronic Frontier Foundation, don't want the public pressure to let up. Hence, the EFF's newest patent campaign, the group will be announcing a stupid patent of the month. For August, the group has nominated U.S. patent number 8,762,173, titled, quote, "Method and Apparatus for Indirect Medical Consultation." Sounds boring. The patent issued in June, and it dates back to an original filing in 2007. A blog post by the EFF lawyer Vera supplies a legally free description of just what the now monopolized method is.
Okay.
And here are the steps. There's A through G.
Mhm.
So it's take a telephone call from a patient, record the patient info in a patient file, send the patient information to a doctor, ask the doctor if he or she wants to talk to the patient, call the patient back and transfer the call to the doctor, record the call, add the recorded call to the patient file and send to the doctor, and then the last step is do steps A through F with a computer. They patented taking a phone call, directing it to a doctor, and then dealing with it.
Okay.
So, the article continues, the original patent actually just had steps A through F, and it was appropriately rejected. Then step G was added, and the rejection went away.
No.
I have a quote here saying, "This is a stupid patent. This is a patent on a doctor's computer secretary. Somehow, something that wasn't patentable became patentable just by saying, do it with a computer." It would seem to be exactly the type of patent that the Alice v. CLS Bank decision was supposed to do away with. The patent issued on June 24, 2014, just one day before the new draft guidelines were circulated, notifying examiners of the new criteria under said ruling. So, the point here is that just like I think we talked about it last week, where they had the famous podcaster, I'm forgetting his name, he's a comedian, but he also has a podcast. Someone tried to sue him for using the method of, using episodic content.
Mhm.
He had episode number 200, and he was on 201, and then they came after him for infringing on their patent of, having episodes.
Mhm.
So, this is along the same lines. Essentially, they had a crappy patent, and then they said, just do it on a computer. And then they're like, okay, never mind. Yeah, we could patent that for you. So it's along the same lines.
That was Louis C.K., right? Yeah.
No, that was I want to say Ruffalo, but that ain't it. One of the other comedians, I'm completely drawing a blank. Don't ask. But
Okay.
he has he has quote unquote the most popular podcast on the internet.
Hmm.
So it's more and more patent trolls, and I love shaming them. So it's always fun to talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Well,
you
yeah.
gotta admit that the patent they tried to register, or not that they tried to register, that they did register, you gotta admit that was kind of silly.
Yeah, very silly.
Take a phone call, put it in a patient file, send the patient file, add to the patient file, and then call it a day.
Yeah.
That's just what every secretary does ever.
Yeah. Then put it on a computer. Okay. This story from Maximum PC. Danish researchers set new fiber optic data transfer record. This is incredible. Technical University of Denmark researchers achieve 43 terabits per second using a single laser.
Is that it?
Yeah, 43 terabits per second. We're not talking. Remember, Google just had the gigabit method. This is terabits, and 43 of them. Between 2009 and 2011, the Technical University of Denmark was on a record-breaking binge. It all began with the university breaking the 1 terabits per second fiber optic data transmission barrier using a single laser in March of 2009. only for researchers at the Danish Institute to outdo themselves over the next 2 years, yet with yet more impressive efforts of 5.1 terabits and 9.5 terabits per second, respectively. Their dominance ended in 2011, though, when Germany's Karush Institute of Technology took the record away from them. According to a press release issued by the university late last month, researchers at the Technical University of Denmark, or DTU, have set a new record by managing to achieve data transfer speeds of 43 terabits per second, or around 5.4 terabytes, okay, using a single laser. The previous record set by the German Institute in 2011 was 26 terabits per second. DTU managed this feat by using a new kind of 7-core optical fiber from Japanese company NNT. All said, there's nothing here for us ordinary consumers to get excited about, because this is just in the lab, folks, and you probably won't see this, hitting your personal computer for a long time.
Well, it's not even for a long time. It's just the actual application of this.
Yeah.
The actual application of this is not viable for a home setting. I mean,
Right.
they're using just a very clear, very tiny filament, and they're just shooting a laser at it at the right intervals at the right time. I mean, you got to figure anything in the home, there's going to be bends and curves and walls and interference and all this kind of things. So don't expect anytime soon a 43 terabit per second connection, and then just being able to download.
Yeah.
I don't know, the internet at that point. I don't know what you do with 43 terabits a second.
What would you do with it?
I guess just spy on everyone else. Just spy on every government and just call it a day.
The ultimate speed. I wonder what other bottlenecks would come up with that. No, it's just proof of concept, folks. It's just not going to showing up. They're going to show up in your cable company anytime soon. But they just wanted to show that they could do it. And
I have a question for you.
Yes.
When do you think is the death of JPEG?
What is the death of JPEG?
When do you think there will be the death of JPEG?
I don't know. JPEGs are still quite useful today. It's just the compression technology used for images, pictures, graphics,
But when you don't need to, when you're not running on a 56K modem, why do you need JPEG? When everyone has, I'm sorry, folks out in the country who are still running on 3 megabits a second satellite technology, but when everyone has 50 megabits a second, why do you need JPEG anymore?
I never really kind of conjectured on that. Why?
It's just I see it all the time, and people seem to use it, especially on Facebook and things like that. They'll save pictures as JPEG instead of what are some of the other extensions that are better?
In the RAW or something? You mean because JPEG does compress the images down to very.
And it compresses and compresses and compresses. Yeah. Like every time you transfer it, and then they save it to their computer as a JPEG, it compresses it even more. I mean, you get a lot of distortion.
Well, you're not supposed to compress a JPEG. You don't want to compress something that's already compressed, because yes, then you get distortion. You take the raw image and compress it once using JPEG or whatever the compression technology is that you're using.
Well, let's face it, people don't know about extensions and what the different extensions mean. So when they say JPEG, they think, oh, JPEG is picture, so let me just save this as a JPEG.
Yeah. No, you never want to do that. Because it actually can make the image bigger. When you compress something that's already compressed, it actually will backfire and actually make it bigger. Depending what kind of compression algorithm you're using. So, yeah, but if you have something JPEG, it's already compressed. It's an image that's already been compressed. So if you have the actual raw image, the raw file, then of course you can pick whatever compression technology you want.
But I think nowadays, most websites and most connections can actually handle the raw. If back when you had 56K modem and you had a raw that was 1.3 megabits. Yeah, it made sense. But nowadays, go ahead and put up the 3 to 5 megabits a second,
Yeah, but still, I mean, you can do lossless compression too. Because you can control the amount of the quality of a compression of a JPEG, and you can tell JPEG to do lossless compression.
But I mean, why bother? It's always better to have the raw than it is to
compress. Yeah, but it still takes up a lot of room. I mean, a single TIFF image, or raw image can take up, 40, 50 megabytes just for one image. And if you've got 1,000 images, boy, you're gonna chew up your disk space pretty quickly. And you don't really need all that detail unless you want to blow it up so big that you want to see the fly on a wall. Maybe that.
PNG, there we go. Jonathan Chatroom just said that. Yeah, PNG is the other one that you're supposed to use, not JPEG.
And TIFF.
But
TIFF is another one, and PICT is another one. They're all compared.
yeah, that's right. But I mean, it seems like compression technology, and this all kind of stemmed from the story that we did, that we just did about the data stream searchers and the transfer speeds. As speeds increase and as hard drives, get bigger and bigger, and servers get more powerful, and bigger, the point of compression, I think, is lost.
Mm-hmm.
If you have data transfer speeds and you have the resources to commit to it, there's really no point in compression anymore.
Mm.
So,
okay.
Just a nice little thing to think about. 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the road, compression might not be a thing, to worry about anymore.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess. Is it your turn to do a story or my turn?
Probably my turn.
Okay.
Well, it's always fun to listen to how Windows 8 is messing up, because I am a eternal fan of Windows 7. So this one, Paul Lilly again, Max and PC. Windows 8 market share stands pat as Windows 7 gains ground.
Mm-hmm.
So Windows 8 may have hit a brick wall. Not much has happened in the Windows space this summer, though what little movement there's been indicates that users are still trending more towards Windows 7 than Windows 8 and 8.1. The combined share of Windows 8 and 8.1 was 12.5%, down a sliver from 12.54% in June and May. So all of those figures are up slightly from the 12.24 earlier on, and meanwhile, Windows 7 continues to inch forward month after month. Here's how the market share numbers have been playing out for Windows 7 since April, and it's gone from 49% to 50% to all the way up to 51% last month.
Wow.
That's a 2% bump since Microsoft has yanked the support for Windows XP. And again, that's about a 0.5 percentage drop for Windows 8 in that same time span. So, and speaking of which, the legacy operating system is still installed on about a quarter of PCs around the world at 24.82%, which is down from 26.29. So even though, again, extended support for Windows XP was pulled in April, it's still on 25% of all Windows computers in the world.
What does that say?
That says that a lot of companies, and I have seen this firsthand, don't want to upgrade their computers that are legacy. If you have a piece of equipment that you got back in 2001 and you don't want to mess with it, I mean it's going to stay with Windows XP for as long as that piece of equipment is going to be there.
Okay.
So I mean it's Windows 7 making head ground, Windows 8 losing a bit. Windows 9, good luck, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think Windows 9 is going to make a lot of corrections that people have been griping about.
Who knows? Windows 2000 might just make an appearance. Windows ME will live forever.
That's it. By the way, do you have a fan on over? Because I'm hearing a lot of air noise, and you might have.
Yeah, we'll do that in a second.
Okay. Charles Tendell is out at the DEF CON and Black Hat conventions in Las Vegas, and we're going to be hearing from him on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And we're going to be talking about a lot of the things that he's seeing out there with guests, and it's going to be an interesting week. We'll probably be doing most of that in our second hour of the show. But this from Wired, evidently they said that one of the demonstrations was to watch someone pop a car's lock in a minute not using the old-fashioned shims and coat hangers, which are clumsy tools of last century's car burglars. Modern-day thieves, according to this article, if they're clever as Silvio Cesar, may be able to unlock your vehicle's door without even touching it. As a part of talk on the insecurity of wireless devices at the Black Hat Security Conference, which is coming later up this week, Cesar plans to reveal a technique that could allow anyone to spoof the signal from a wireless key fob and unlock a car with no physical trace using a code-breaking attack that takes as little as a few minutes to perform. He says, I can use this to lock, unlock, open a trunk, says Cesar, an Australian researcher for the security firm Qualsys. It effectively defeats the security of the keyless entry. We've been seeing this on movies for how many years? The car thief will come up and have a little device, just kind of go bloop bloop, and it fools it to unlocking a car. Well,
It's so much more sophisticated than the coat hanger.
Yeah, that's Hollywood. Evidently, they're following it in real life now. For now, his hack requires an off-the-shelf tools that just cost over $1,000, and in some cases may require the attacker to remain within wireless range of the car for as long as 2 hours. He's only tested it on his own car, which is 10 years old. But the radio equipment he used in his research and proof of concept attack is rapidly getting cheaper, potentially inviting less friendly hackers to refine his technique and seek out similar wireless vulnerabilities. His method was straightforward enough that he suspects some variant of it would likely work on other automobiles too, at least at the same era. Car makers, he points out, tend to use commercially available key fob technology that might be common among many makes and models. Manufacturers of the devices include the companies Amtel and TRW, for example. In the meantime, he won't identify the car he tested. He asked Wired not to name it either, though he gave permission to publish a video that shows how he did it. He's communicating with the Australian chapter of the Computer Emergency Response Team, or CERT, which is working to alert the manufacturer. It's a very popular car, he hints. From my driveway, I can see two of the same model.
Honda Civic.
Yeah. His hack uses a tool known as a software-defined radio, a device that can digitally emit or pick up a wide band of frequencies from FM to Bluetooth to Wi-Fi. With that super versatile transmitter attached to his laptop, along with a cheap antenna and amplifier, he was able to transmit the same frequency as the key fob. He then used that frequency to perform a brute force attack, cycling through thousands of codes, guesses at a rate of 2 to 3 per second, until he found the one that successfully unlocked the car. So there it is. So they actually have a video of him showing unlocking a car in a few minutes. So anyhow, that's part of the stuff that Charles is going to be seeing and out at Black Hat this week. I know he's already out in Las Vegas, and we might actually get some reports of things that they're doing like that.
I mean, let's go back to the whole the time scale and the price.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're stealing, $14,000-$15,000 cars, and it takes you 2 hours. I mean, let's say you're in a parking garage and someone just dropped off their car and they went to go work an 8-hour day.
Yeah.
I mean, the time isn't a limitation at all. You could sit in your car and and hack their car at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Well.
So it's not as what's the word? It's not as inconvenient as it would first appear.
No, if you have the time, you can probably do it. That's exactly what you're saying. Exactly. Again, though, when you watch lots of, when they always show these car thieves, they always have these little devices they hold in their hand, and then they can, unlock virtually any car with it. So evidently, that's not the reality. But it may be eventually. Okay. Okay. So continue on.
Yeah. Let me try to get through this one real quick. You can use your smartphone, and this one from Tech Hive, and friendly skies likely to remain that way as feds look to keep ban on in-flight mobile calls. You can use your smartphone to perform all manner of tasks from the moment you board an airplane until you reach your final destination. But it looks like making a phone call during the flight will remain on the forbidden list.
Mm-hmm.
Is that really how you spell forbidden?
Verboten.
Verboten.
Yes.
Okay.
That's German. That's German for forbidden.
Ah, is that true?
Yes, it is.
I did not know that. Good to know. And with that, a grateful nation lets out a sigh of relief. That's the word from the Wall Street Journal, at any rate, which reports that the Department of Transportation is getting closer to formalizing a ban on in-flight calls. That's based on comment made by the General Counsel for the Department of Transportation during a speech last week and confirmed in the Journal when it contacted the agency. It says that it's likely to publish a notice of proposed rulemaking in December. So, the past year has seen the prog spring of sorts for the use of mobile devices on airplanes.
I thought that they were going to allow people to use their mobile phones.
They let them use their smartphones, but not to make calls, which is good. And we'll tell you why after the break.
Yeah, well, they still have airplane mode, I guess, and that's it. Okay. All right, we've got 2 more winners to announce. We got a brand new news tip bulletin from Marty Winston that's coming up in the second hour of the show, right after these commercial breaks. This is the Computer America Show. We'll be right back.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 120,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, Cover America Auto Care has announced revolutionary, inexpensive mechanical breakdown coverage that is now available to the general public to save consumers thousands on auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for drivers to call who own a vehicle that is less than 10 years old for a free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number is 800-483-2514. Drivers who are covered with this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair again. This is the auto coverage now sweeping across America at a fraction of what dealerships charge and is now available to the public by calling today. The number to call is 800-483-2514. 800-483-2514. That's 800-483-2514.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV.
Greetings, this is Marty Winston for Computer America with a News Tips Bulletin review of the Withings wireless blood pressure monitor. We're going to see Withings again in another review, but right now we're looking at one of that new collection of wearable tech products with a difference. So many of them insist on supporting only iOS. That one of our first bits of daylight with Withings is that they also support Bluetooth 3 for Android 4 and higher devices, so their use isn't limited to that iStuff minority.
Yeah.
The second grabber for us was their functionality. We're looking at the blood pressure monitor this time, their Pulse O2 soon, with whatever elements you have reporting to the same free app. Available on Android, available on iOS. The blood pressure monitor is a fully automatic inflating pressure cuff that reports systolic, diastolic, and heart rate to that app for both instant reading and automatic historical tracking. Once it's charged and paired, it's a no-brainer to use. Bottom line, the Withings wireless blood pressure monitor is just as useful for people who want to keep an eye on their routine blood pressure as for those who use blood pressure as a measure of the effectiveness of their exercise regimens. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Happy you could join us. 33 minutes past the hour. Marty Winston there with a blood pressure accessory for your smartphone.
Would you? I think it's kind of cool, actually.
I think medical technology. I mean, I pretty much grew up in a hospital, and the technology I saw back when I was 10, 11, 12 that that was being used in a state-of-the-art facility is easily comparable to what you could find in a smartphone nowadays.
Yes, that's very true. Yeah.
You know, so you could, you know, just with the right devices that are paired up with your smartphone, and you know, like you mentioned, not just iOS with this particular one, but also with the Android, admittedly the later Androids, you can get blood pressure. I'm sure, you know, you could get some kind of testing strips for diabetes and glucose and things like that.
They have them.
There are probably, you know, device after device out there that help you with your health and keep easy track of it, you know, just as accurately as any hospital would 10 years ago.
Yep, exactly.
So and for sure, you know, yeah, they might have some of the more expensive machines that have been upgraded, but I mean, hospital nowadays they still use, you know, the strap around the arm and the pump and the squishy thing, and they test your blood pressure the same way.
Well, actually, we went to our doctor's office, and he uses the assistant uses the cuff that you might with the stethoscope, but also depending on the skill of the I don't know, the person who does it, she pulled out a blood pressure thing that went around the wrist, and it was the same one we have at home, the Omicron. It's the same blood pressure monitor. It's the same one. They use the exact same model.
I like that one. It said I had arrhythmia.
Yeah. It the latest ones will actually tell you if you have arrhythmia. Yeah, they'll keep track of 2 different people's records plus a guess, so you can have a third one, so you can have a guess spot on it as well. But it will detect heart arrhythmia. It's the only one that I've seen that takes your blood pressure. Most cuffs you tighten it, you cut it off, and then you slowly release it. This is the first one that I've seen where it starts getting tighter and tighter and tighter. When it reaches it's finished. It's got your blood pressure, so it measures it differently than the normal way. It actually measures. It's the only one I've ever seen that does that.
The normal way you might remember from your local grocery store, where you slip your arm into the band and it, you know, squeezes really tight.
Yeah, and then it loosens it and loosens it. This one, it just gets tighter and tighter, and then it's finished. It doesn't get loosened up. It measures it from the ground up somehow.
Medical technology in your pocket is definitely here.
Yeah, and it sold for $80 too at the time, so it's very
and it's completely accessible. It's not out of reach.
Yeah.
So we're here on the Computer America Show. We are doing computer and technology news. Right before the break, we were right in the middle of this friendly sky is likely to remain that way. That being the case because, you know, yes, iPhone specifically, because that's what I know, but I know a lot of phones have something called airplane mode. And that's where you turn it on and it'll turn off, I'm pretty sure it'll turn off like Bluetooth and your cell phone service.
Yeah, it turns
but
off
you keep on your 3G and 4G.
Airplane mode turns off anything that radiates. In other words, anything that sends a signal. So it turns off Bluetooth, it turns off 3G, 4G, all the phone applications. It just lets you use the smartphone component without anything that broadcasts.
You're right. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, they have airplane mode. So, you know, getting back to the article here, you know, this I think really, this paragraph here really outlines why this is actually a good ruling, you know, saying that you can't use your phone to make phone calls on your flight. So again, continuing with the article, now you, hard-charging road warrior, may not see any problem with whipping out your mobile phone and knocking off a business call or 5 during that transcontinental flight. The other people seated in and around your row might have different ideas, however, and that seems to be the heart of the Transportation Department's inclination to keep the phones on airplane mode for the duration of your time in the air. Tapping out emails and IMs to people over the plane's Wi-Fi is one thing after all. Yakking for hours on end to the consternation of the poor schmo wedged next to you in the middle seat is quite another. So for what it's worth, the journal says that the airlines would prefer the Transportation Department would butt out of this, with an industry spokesman telling the paper that some carriers may want to experiment with services like in-flight phone booths or quiet sections on the plane. The author's next guess is that the airline that tried out in-flight phone calls will cause a stampede of passengers clamoring to book flights on rival airlines where they could maybe count on a few hours of relative peace and quiet.
Yeah. Okay.
So, you know, like you said, at the heart of this ruling is, you know, it's not just a technological problem, you know, like it wouldn't cause your plane just to suddenly go nosedive because you had to call Aunt Sue about that recipe. It's more of the fact that, you know, let's be polite here and don't yak in your neighbor's ear that's just trying to sit there and get from A to B.
Yeah, this makes sense. Uh, well, do you think they would have a quiet, like a quiet section,
Like the author said, if any flight ever said, "Hey, guess what? We're offering phone booths on our planes now," I'm sure that would be actually a negative for that flight and not quite the positive that it would, kind of first seem.
Except for Superman, because then he could change on the phone.
Oh yeah, and of course, that's Superman. He needs that.
Yeah, he does. All right.
Actually,
Yeah.
question. I never saw the newest Superman. How did they deal with the costume change?
He's never. It's before.
Like, was he never in a situation where he had a costume change like that?
No, it was. It doesn't. It leads up to the point. It finishes just when he gets the position as Clark Kent. So that's where it leaves off, and so you don't really.
So the next movie.
The next one coming out, we'll maybe see, but it leads up to the part where he becomes a reporter for the Daily Planet, and then that's pretty much how.
Mild-mannered reporter for the Daily Planet.
Yeah, and he's not mild-mannered, by the way. He's not a cartoon character like they do. He's just a regular guy, So at least that's what I can get from the beginning of it, anyway. But I still think it was the best Superman movie ever done.
Well, I'm sure you're gonna like Batman vs Superman.
I think so. I think I am because it's done by the same guy. All right, let's do our second place winner, Logitech winner, and this is for the Logitech G400S gaming mouse. This goes $60, and it's got the Delta Zero sensor optimizations for high accuracy cursor control. It's got 8 programmable buttons, 1 millisecond report rate. It's a wired mouse from Logitech. It's their G400S. That is $60. Okay, beautiful mouse. And that prize goes to Allison Reese. Allison, congratulations. You're a second place winner. She listens to us in Lafayette, Indiana. Okay. And she actually left a comment. Allison says, first of all, I just want to say that I love listening to you on the IRN radio network. So she listens to us on IRN, evidently. These prizes are great and would love to win any of them. I'm a teacher and love technology to use in my classroom. And she goes, the earphones would help my students greatly when they are working on the computer and trying to block out what is going on in the rest of the classroom. However, thanks so much for the opportunity. So there you go, Alison. You didn't get the headsets, but you got the gaming mouse, and I'm certainly you'll love it. And thanks you so much for listening to us on the IRN radio network.
I'm sure as a teacher you will appreciate the importance of the gaming mouse to your students.
Yeah, I'm sure that you will.
Getting that homework in a timely fashion.
Exactly. All right, let's continue going back to our...
Actually, I think I'm going to pull Craig, and I want to do a second one real quick.
Okay.
Another news story. And this one actually happened today, and it was hilarious of what happened. A New York hotel tried to charge $500 fines for negative online reviews.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
So big brands and colossal companies spend small fortunes to protect their online reputations. So what's a small boutique hotel to do when it's worried about bad reviews? Mm-hmm. And well, for an object lesson in what not to do, consider the case of Hudson, New York's Union Street Guest House.
Okay.
By now, the broad strokes have been well established. The company had a ridiculous policy featured on its website under which bad reviews were punishable with $500 fines. And here's the offending bit. Before the hotel excised it from the web, they have a quote here exactly from the website. It was, if you have ever booked the inn for a wedding or other type of event anywhere in the region and given us a deposit of any kind for guests to stay at the Union Street Guest House, there will be a $500 fine that will be deducted from your deposit for every negative review of the inn placed on any internet site by anyone in your party and or attending your wedding or event.
Oh my gosh.
If you stay here to attend a wedding anywhere in the area and leave us a negative review on any internet site, you agree to a $500 fine for each negative review.
Oof.
So naturally, the press found out and thoroughly poked at the hotel while disgruntled guests and trolls torpedoed the establishment's rating on Yelp. And by the way, I'm pulling up Yelp right now. It is up to about 700 reviews.
Wow.
It got about 700 reviews in the past 7 hours. All of them 1 star. And it's ridiculous what happened. I think Yelp might take some action because these people did not actually stay there.
Yeah.
But in a bid to calm those ravenous reviewers, the hotel, though the hotel may have committed the greatest sin of all, lying to cover its butt. You see, after the offending policy was removed from the website, a representative from the Union Street Guest House posted a response on Facebook, which curiously has also since been deleted, to refute the accusations, saying, "The policy regarding wedding fines was put on our site as a tongue-in-cheek response to a wedding many years ago. It was meant to be taken down long ago and certainly was never enforced." Here's the thing, though, that doesn't actually appear to be the truth. According to an email observation obtained by Engadget, a former guest has attempted to the inn has attempted to fine at least one newly married couple for a scathing review left by one of their guests. And again, they have an email here saying that it was negative. Apparently, you agree to a deposit when you stay there, and if you give them any bad review, they take that $500 straight out of that deposit. Like it's not like an extra $500 that you can dispute later. It's just taken out of your deposit, and then you have to fight them for what they claim to be damages. You have to fight with them to try to get that $500 back, or just change your review and they'll give it back to you. They'll refund it in its entirety. So and the article is completely right. And what not to do is extort your customers for good reviews online. And this all happened within the last day. Craig, what do you think?
I think this is really, they knew that they were asked. They should have realized that they were going to get it badly for posting something like that. Anytime you anytime you say to the public, if you say something bad about us, we're gonna penalize you for it. It's just inviting. This kind of action, whether it be true or not. They should have known better. They were just begging for it, and unfortunately, I think they deserve what they got, because and then later saying, "Oh well, we were just joking." No, I don't think that was the case, because they actually posted some emails that suggested that they weren't joking, because they actually attempted to garner these fines from people. You can't say to people, you can't say anything bad about it, other than we're going to fine you. You can't do that.
Well, first of all, that's not how a review works.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a review is supposed to be open, fair, whatever.
A review is how was your experience?
Yeah.
And you just relate it.
Yeah. But if you say something bad about you, we're going to penalize you. You can't do that. You can't have an invitation for review and then say, but you can only say nice things about us. That doesn't work. That's not an open review.
So again, this all just happened in the last couple hours, and the internet really took justice into its own hands on this one.
Yeah, I'm sure the person responsible at that place is probably no longer employed there, and
I checked it out. It's actually it's in the Hudson area of New York. It's actually very small. It's not like this was on the Hilton's website.
But maybe it's privately owned, and then
no, it 100% is.
Well, then the owner
very small.
The owner took it upon himself to be a target, because that's
they had an absurd policy that they were trying to keep their image, but unfortunately, when you go about it that way, it doesn't work. Extortion doesn't pay off.
No.
Just ask Batman.
Yeah. Addison says he has a friend who owns a bread and breakfast, and he says, I can tell you guests try to extort her with threats of bad reviews too often, so,
Oh, I could definitely see people using it as weapons, but, to come around and say, just a blanket statement to everyone, we'll keep $500 for damages if you give us a bad review.
Well, anyway, that's my opinion.
It's not smart.
Not smart at all.
I agree with you.
Yes. We have time for one more, and then
We have time for one or two more.
And then we'll do our grand prize winner as well.
And then grand prize winner.
Okay. Tech Hive, more content for the Fire TV from sources other than Amazon. Now, 4 months since launching its Fire TV streaming set-top box, that's one you can speak to, Amazon is adding a slew of new apps featuring non-Amazon content, including Watch Disney Channel, Watch Disney Junior, MLB.TV, Animal Planet Live, and the WWE Network. It's the World Wrestling network that we talked about. There's still no word on HBO Go, but by the end of the year, Amazon plans to also add ABC, ABC Family, NFL Now, a whole bunch of them, and some outside, some more niche networks like Outside TV, Hulu Plus, Fashion TV, basically along with Amazon's own instant video service as well. The games roster is growing alongside the content offerings. Fire TV's app selection has more than doubled, with hundreds of services and games added since launch, including the official Flappy Birds family, currently a Fire TV exclusive game. It's an Amazon.
Have you heard of Flappy Birds?
No, I heard of Flappy Bird.
Flappy. Wait, so you've heard of Flappy Bird? Flappy Bird was it was kind of like not Angry Birds.
Yeah.
But it's a game that you have to press a button and your little Flappy Bird flaps its wings and it gains altitude and it falls slowly to lose altitude and it flies between pipes.
Right.
So and it's also very, very difficult, and it caused a lot of people to be very, very mad, but it was also addictive. So
it was originally withdrawn by the developer Doug Nuggian because he thought it was too addictive for humanity's own good.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Amazon has ways to go to catch the huge channel selection of the Roku set-top boxes and even Chromecast. It is notable that Fire TV's expanded lineup includes lots of non-Amazon content. When Fire TV was first launched, it was criticized for putting Amazon content first and foremost, with some likening its pro-Amazon bias to the walled gardens of an early internet days. It's great for people who get all their content from Amazon, but more app support is needed to take on its competitors. So there you go with that. Because again, Fire TV, it's got the remote where you can speak to it and change the channels, and they had a lot of TV ads for it. That look kind of interesting, but
again, they're right. It features that same problem of if you're invested in that ecosystem, you might be pretty happy. But let's face it, iTunes has been around forever. There have been a lot of different platforms to get your entertainment, digital media kind of deal, and Amazon's kind of new to the block. So not everyone is fully invested in Amazon's future or vision.
Are you saying Flappy Bird's family is not by the original developer Doug Nuggian?
It might be an adaptation just for the Fire TV.
Yeah, but again, because maybe you can have two Flappy Birds.
Well, yeah. The screenshot that we show here is part of the adaptation because again, Fire TV is meant to be a family room console, so of course you're gonna have more than one person, accessing it. Not like a smartphone where of course you can't have two people holding the same smartphone.
I wonder if Amazon approached him and made a deal with him to do it because it's such a popular
Flappy
game.
Bird is just like any other small app out there that costs 99 cents.
Yeah.
It's out there to make money, and good lord, are they good at making money.
Yeah, they are. All right, let's do our grand prize winner of the week, okay? And okay, this is for the Logitech UE600 noise isolating earphones, valued at $120. Okay, and again, this is it's got the powerful bass. When nothing but music matters, the Logitech UE600 noise isolating earphones delivered a balanced frequency response and a highly detailed soundstage. The high-quality diaphragm drivers were designed and tuned for music lovers who want to hear the music just as it was recorded. They're a beautiful set of headsets, again, $120. And that winner is... You know who you are. Stephen Bristow!
Oh, he did win.
He did win. Stephen Bristow. I read the wrong name, but that's it, Stephen. Congratulations. You're a grand prize winner. Stephen listens to us in Webster, Texas. I didn't know there was a Webster, Texas. And he actually left a contest, a comment. He says, please enter me in the contest, ... That's a little ellipse. He says, then he says, what am I saying? Question mark. He says, please choose me as the winner of the Logitech contest. And he says, and thanks for the chance! Exclamation point. So there you go. Well, Stephen, congratulations. You are our grand prize winner, winning the Logitech UE 600 noise isolating earphones. So again, once again, third place winner is Brian Williams in Long Beach, California. Second place winner for the Logitech G400S gaming mouse is Allison Reese in Lafayette, Indiana. And our grand prize winner, Stephen Bristow in Webster, Texas. Congratulations to all of you for being our winners in the Logitech contest. And again, we have a brand new one up and running right now. As I said, the prizes might change, but certainly get your entries in. You have 6 weeks, starting from tonight, to enter in our brand new Logitech contest. So there it is. Okay. So, hey, again, I want to thank Tim DeRoche from Aero-X for in the first hour, and hopefully we'll have Tim back on again, and he's going to get himself a decent set of earphones. So because that cell phone interview,
I think he got his point across, but I'd really like him, get him back on either when he's past his testing phase, or about to start his production phase. Because again, right now, you can schedule one for the year 2017. But they're still in the prototype phase, which is good and all. I mean, the prototype phase is really important, but just to get a little bit closer to what an actual consumer would use, I think would be more fun to to have on the show.
Yeah, you think so? Yeah.
Maybe even send Charles Sandell out there as a field reporter and have him flying around.
Yeah, could be. I'm just leaving in the chat room here. Oh, they're having a couple people talking about the science fiction that they like to watch on TV, like Revolution. Well, Revolution is no longer. They canceled the series. I watched the whole thing.
Oh, wait, so did it revolve?
No, it devolved.
Like, did they win in Revolution, or is it just kind of like, oh, it never got picked up for a season 2?
It got never picked up for season 3 or something, and so it got hung in the end. Yeah, so you never know what. I think it kind of degraded. The original premise, of everybody losing electricity and how they, and then the process. I think the story ran its course, and they had like another season to fill, and it was just basic,
The show Under the Dome.
Yeah.
Stephen King.
Yes, I watched the first season, and I've recorded 5 of the episodes. We're going to binge watch it. We haven't watched it yet, but we're watching season 2.
From what I hear,
yeah,
the television series actually differs pretty far from what Stephen King's original novels
which wouldn't be the first time,
Yeah, and of course, it's kind of hard to adapt a book series to a TV series, but I mean, a lot of people have been saying that if they stuck closer to the books, it would have been more enjoyable.
Yeah.
But I mean, did you like it?
I liked the first season. It was okay. And now it's in the second season, and I haven't been watching it. I'm recording all the shows. And I guess, we'll binge watch it, one evening, and we'll watch the 5 episodes and kind of catch up. There's a couple of other good ones out there. There's one called The Strain, which is on the FX channel. That is actually very, very disturbing. It's very good, but very, very disturbing. You should not let young children watch that one.
90 seconds.
So that's the newest one. I didn't like Extent. I don't like it that much at all. I don't think it's very good. But the Fringe is not the Fringe. The Strain is really good. So
I haven't seen that one either.
Yeah. All right. Well, I said that wraps it up. Again, congratulations to all of our winners tonight. And again, just get your entries in. We're starting to take them as of tonight. So we've opened up the Logitech contest. Check it out. Tomorrow night, Newegg is going to be with us.
60 seconds.
That's right, Newegg. They're going to be talking about back to school and some of the newest products that they're going to have. They're going to be with us the first hour. And then in hour 2, we'll have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. Don't forget, Charles Tendell out at Black Hat and DEF CON will be reporting live in the second hour of the show starting Wednesday. So that's going to be a lot of fun. He might even join us in the first hour because Mike Shermack is going to be in the first hour. So maybe we'll have him in the first and the second hour. He's got a lot of stuff to talk about. So we'll see you tomorrow night with Newegg. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow
10
night.
seconds.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, so we're out of Blog Talk. And again, thanks to everybody for watching us here on our live video stream brought to you by The World Computing. And we will see you. Ben will be back with us. Yeah, you will be tomorrow night. So we'll see you tomorrow night with Newegg. Should be a good show.
Indeed, indeed.
Yep. All right. Bye, everybody.